Hello everyone and welcome to this Holy Grail Games video. My name is Georgina and today I'm here with Jamie.
Hey guys.
And today we are going to be talking about expansions for Dominations Road to Civilization, more specifically, Dynasties. So, Dynasties is the second in a series of 4 expansions for Dominations. This one adds an extra layer of complexity to the game because it adds essentially a drafting mechanic.
Exactly.
So the aim of this video is we are going to talk to you about how the expansion works, what the theme is, how you play with it, and then have a quick exchange on what it adds to the game.
What it all means.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I said, Dynasties adds a card draft mechanic to this game. You are going to have the option of members of different great families, dynasties, if you will. Each turn you are going to have several of these cards at your disposal, and you're going to be able to play up to 2 of them per age. They're going to grant you special powers, little extra abilities. At the end of the game, you will have your little Dynasties board in front of you with a certain amount of cards on there, and you're going to gain possibly extra points depending on collections that you've made. So, Jamie, how does it work?
Well, very simply, so your dynasty is represented by great leaders from each of the 6 domains.
Yes.
Okay, represented by 3 age decks, age 1, age 2, age 3, just like in the base game. In Dynasties, there is a small phase added to the start of every age, and also a new action you can do at the beginning of your turns. So at the beginning of each age, we draft each of our hand of cards of great leaders. Yeah. As I said, there are 6 different families. Each of them have different abilities. They can give you resources, they can give you victory points, they can give you special scoring, kind of like a mini objective card. And as the ages progress, just like how technology gets better and more powerful in the game, these leaders become more adept and their effects are better. So an age 3 leader is generally more powerful than an age 1 leader to kind of go crescendo with the rest of the game. So, for those of you that know what a drafting mechanic is, it's very simple, but for those of you who don't, we'll go over it very quickly. Basically, at the start of each age, we will take that age's deck, so age 1, 2, and 3. We will each draw 3 cards from that deck after giving it a good shuffle, obviously. And then we will take our 3 cards that we have drawn and we will choose one. We'll take it, put it face down, and then give the 2 we have left over to the other player. They will give us their 2 cards. We look at these 2 cards, we take one, we give the last one back to them, they give the last one back to us, and then we both have 3 cards. During each age, you can play 2 of these 3 cards.
If you wish.
If you wish. You don't have to, but if you wish. And why you wouldn't, we'll get to that in a minute. You play a card at the start of your turn before you do anything else. So before placing your land tile or anything of the sort. You place it onto one of your dynasty boards. Now we've already put some cards down as an example here.
So each player gets one of these.
Exactly. During the setup phase, obviously. And when you play a dynasty card, you place it in the leftmost slot on your board. There are 6 slots. As I said, you normally will be playing 2 per age. Okay? When you place the card, you resolve its effects. Sometimes that effect will be immediate. Most of the time it will be immediate. Gain something or do something or profit from something, etc. Sometimes there are end of age effects and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
They are all different, all kind of tuned to their own families.
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, there are 6 different families and they're each attached in some way to the knowledge domains.
Yes, exactly.
So they'll each give you a benefit that's somehow related to science, government,
Yes,
trade.
so government cards will, for example, they will give you government resources. They may allow you to score things based on government attributes, or maybe they'll do something which is very in phase with the government's theme, such as building a new city. There is a card, a dynasty card in there, a leader, you play him, you build a city. Done. Kind of typical government stuff. Yeah. And that's same thing for each of the families. And that's it. Basically, each age, you draft these cards, you can play up to 2 of them, and then you move on to the next stage. Now, why you may or may not play leaders, and also the order in which you play them is very important, because not only do you get their effects during the game, you get points at the end of the game for your collection, for your dynasty. Basically, you will score your dynasty at the end of the game. There are 2 ways to gain points, either or. You can't do both. Either you've built a dynasty of the same family, so for example here, 3 yellow cards of the same, all the points are marked on the board. So here, for example, we'd score 6 points for these 3 cards of the same family. Or you can score families of different colours. Dynasties of different families, rather. So here, there's 3, we'd score 4 points. You can have a collection of both in your dynasty on your board at the end of the game, like we have here, but you only score 1. So obviously you'd score the 4.1 here, because it's more interesting. Sorry, the 6.1 rather, 6 points. Also, the order you play them in is very important because, for example, if I didn't have these three in order, say, for example, if the orange was in the middle, I wouldn't be able to score a collection of three because they have to be three or more cards one after the other.
In a continuous
Exactly.
dynasty.
Hence why you may not play all of your leader cards during an age because maybe you're like, okay, well, the effects they give me aren't exactly what I need right now. If I don't play it, next stage I can get some family cards, some dynasty cards of the families I want to build my collection, and then score up to 48 points at the end of the game. So yeah, it's still quite a tactical decision. It's not as simple as play the card, gain the bonus. There are other things to take into account. There are other points to score than what's written on the card.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not all.
That's not all. So when you open your box of Dynasties, this is what you will have inside. There's a tiny amount of setup involved with this little sticker here that you can put into your box, but it contains all of the Dynasty cards, but also some new Mastery cards for you to try. So these are all 6 value Mastery cards, and you add them to their respective decks within the Mastery card holders. And basically they are Mastery cards that will give you a little advantage when playing with Dynasties. So they're all in some way related to the idea of using your Dynasty cards and getting the most out of them.
Exactly.
Again, you don't have to use them, but if you really want to get that edge while you're playing with Dynasties, then they can be a good thing to choose. You also get some new objectives. They are also attached in some way to the Dynasties, so based on a certain amount of cards that you will have to get to score additional objectives.
Exactly.
So, yeah, just two extra objectives for you to try your hand at.
Apart from that, they work exactly like normal.
They work in exactly the same way. And of course, there are gaming aids that are also in the box that explain what the different Mastery cards do.
Exactly. And that's basically it. That's the base of the mechanics. This is a slight step up from Hegemon.
Yes.
Which was the expansion that replaces the objective and didn't really add any game phases. It just changed the way the objectives worked and made it more interactive and more adaptive. Here we have these 2 little extra phases that are added, i.e. the drafting phase and the playing the cards phase. So it's a slight level above, but only just, to be honest. It still remains power cards that you play. But, like I said, the order in which you play them is very important because you can lose a lot of points by breaking your combos of your combos literally of your dynasty, but is the reward the card gives you during the game worth it? I can't tell you. That depends on the situation, the age, what you need at the time. So
absolutely. And the powers that the cards give you are very tempting. Like, they can give you a serious boost over, especially at the beginning of the game when maybe you're having a bit of a difficult time getting the knowledge points that you need. They can be a huge boost. So yeah, having to weigh up the power versus the points that you gain at the end of the game based on your collections is a real choice to make.
Especially when we get towards 5 or 6 cards, the jump up in points is quite significant. Like between 10, 15, 16 points per dynasty card in the collection by the time we get to the end. So, you know, it can be quite valuable. In a game like Dominations, where if you do around 300 points, that's generally a very good score. You can score up to 40, 50 points through your dynasties. So, you know, there's a lot to be gained there. But is it worth foregoing that and using these abilities during the game to the detriment of these collections, or have you somehow managed to kind of thread the needle and fit your strategy around the dynasty cards you have? Once again, it's up to you to decide on the fly what you're able to do. So it's a little extra level of strategy added, nothing particularly complicated, but it'll give you something extra to consider and some extra options as well. What we should also mention at this point is this expansion is perfectly compatible with all the others. Some of the later expansions even contain new dynasty cards that you can play if you use both expansions together. Yes, absolutely. So the expansions are fully compatible. I think that's it. Yeah, I think you guys know everything you need to in order to play Dynasties. We've pretty much covered everything. So this is Dynasties. It's currently available in good game stores now. So hopefully this has helped you to perhaps come to a decision if you weren't sure about the game. I hope this video has been useful to you. And we will be back soon with more expansion videos about Dominations Road to Civilization. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great day. Cheers, guys.